Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sessions Cafe, brought to you by Intrigue Magazine. I'm your host, Keri D. Singleton, and today we welcome the magnificent, incomparable Sofia Davis to the show. Welcome, Miss Davis, to Sessions Cafe. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, fabulous.
You're looking wonderful.
Thank you.
Look, I'm trying to compliment you.
You certainly are. I love the bling pants.
I'm trying to give out the Sofia bling.
And you have shades on.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Yes, exactly. It's Mike Connor's shades, but I'm stealing them right now. He's letting me steal them from him. You are a fashionista, a well-respected sister here in New York City and beyond. You almost define the very word fashion in everything that you do. And for me, you also define friendship. So I'm very glad to call you my friend. Appreciate you being here. How did you fall in love, or when did you fall in love with fashion? Because it seems to me, as long as I've known you, some 10 years now, at least, I mean, you seem like you've been a fashionista from the day you were born.
Well, I actually started, my earliest recollection is, my mother's Chanel No. 5 and Coty 24 lipstick. I used to put it on and spray the perfume on myself. And that's the first real recollection that I remember. And then from there, I just continued. I just love fashion. I always loved being different.
Yeah, wow. And look at you.
Thank you.
I mean, you always look the part. Like it seems like you come out the house, you look the part. What was your first show that you did that featured your garments, though, your own stuff?
That I featured my own stuff. Well, actually, a lot of people don't know this, but I've been designing for a long period of time. My degree is in fashion design from FIT.
Oh, great.
So
yes.
Back in the 11th grade that I can remember, I did Uptown Saturday Night, which was on 126th Street with the Black Museum, and that was my first collection. I only did 4 pieces. Wow. But I was happy.
and you're also in a luxury boutique. And I'm not the most fashion conscious person. You know that. So explain to me, what is it like to be in a luxury boutique, and what exactly does that mean?
Well, a luxury boutique is where they sell more high-end clothes. Okay. So you won't find a lot of urban wear per se. Right. They have more of the high-scale kind of clothes. Okay. And so it's wonderful to be in there. I mean, my garments have been selling. And you just have to be prepared and ready. So when they call, that you're ready to answer the call.
The only boutique I think I've ever been to, or at least fairly recently, was up in Harlem, the Brownstone. Oh, that's fabulous. Which is owned by Princess Jenkins. So she's amazing. She's an amazing person. So, and I actually visited her at the store, and I thought of you when I walked in. I was like, oh, this is where Sofia probably shops and probably has her stuff. It's different. It's like exclusive, right?
It is very exclusive there. She has a lot of celebrities.
And so the boutique that you're in?
Yes, I'm in the Fashion District boutique in Philly. Okay. It's Maison Luxury Boutique. And it's all about exclusivity. Oh, yeah. Of course, because that's how you do it. Oh, yeah. That's how you do it. It is luxury.
And so 7 years writing and working with Video Maker magazine, and this is obviously before Fashion Avenue News, which we'll talk about later on in the discussion. So how did that work? 7 years writing and working with Video Maker magazine?
Right. Video Maker magazine was like before all the digital stuff. And what happened is they used to have these big things like Apple has now, and everybody would go that was into video. And I would go all the time. And one time they had a person that was leading the seminar, but he didn't really know the subject. Okay. So I stood up and said something. Everyone started screaming, let her teach a class, let her teach a seminar. So he asked me, well, if you think you could teach it better than me, can you come up? And I did, in front of about maybe, 750 people. Wow. And I taught the seminar, and they hired me.
Did he take your class afterwards?
No. It was just me then after that. It was just me.
I think one thing I've really admired about you since the day that I met you, and again, this is at least 10 years at this point, when I was still doing the Keri's Corner radio show, that's when you and I met. You always bring diversity, not just with the stuff that you wear, but in the high-end fashion shows that you've produced. We'll talk about fashion on the Hudson. We'll talk about 7th on 125th, but all of the fashion shows that I've ever seen or attended that you produced, there was always a lot of diversity, not the same type of designers in every show. Why is diversity in terms of fashion important to you?
Well, one, everyone wears clothes.
Right.
So you need to have garments that fit different body types because everybody wants to look nice.
Right, exactly.
So you want to have that. And then as far as designers are concerned, everybody can't do high-end, or maybe they don't want to.
Right.
And everyone can't do urban.
Right.
Some people want to do children. You know, so you have to kind of go where your passion is. That's why we have a lot of different designers. And then as far as the models and people that participate in the show, we want the audience to be able to see themselves on the runway.
On the runway, so that they can relate to what they're seeing.
They can relate.
And they want to make the purchases.
And they don't feel left out.
Right. It's all about inclusivity. Being inclusive. All inclusive. I know you're going to smile when I ask you this question. What is Sofia's bling? Bling, 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 bling.
Bling,
what does that mean?
bling.
What does that mean? How do you define Sofia's bling?
Well, I always had bling all my life. And bling is for the confident person.
Okay.
This is not for someone that doesn't want attention because the bling is going to get your attention.
Exactly. If you're shy, don't wear it.
Don't wear it if you're shy. And I was never a shy person, ever. And so I would wear all these odd things. And so if it's bling, you know, people would look at me. I remember I painted myself gold one time.
Wow.
Going to a party, my whole body was gold, like Goldfinger. And nobody wanted to stand next to me on the train. They were looking at me like, where's this woman from?
Right.
But I've always liked something that's different. So bling takes it up a notch because most people like bling. They just don't have the confidence to wear it.
When I think of being different, specifically with celebrities, I for whatever reason, I almost instantly think of Madonna. You know, when her first album came out in 1982, I remember her going to like thrift shops and just taking stuff off the racks. And then by the time her second album came out, Like a Virgin, you had millions of teen girls wanting to dress like her, not knowing that her clothes was from Goodwill. Is that how a lot of trends originate?
Well, I think what happens with trends is you wear what you like, meaning it's your style that you create. It's not like you don't look at someone else and say, I want to look like that person.
Right, right.
You just create your own style.
Right.
And that's where the trend really comes from, in my opinion, because you're expressing what you feel inside.
Right.
And you're just using it in a clothing manner.
And is Sofia Davis a trendsetter? Dumb question, but I want to ask anyway.
I think so. I mean, I wear bling glasses inside and outside. Most people can't pull this off because someone would say something to them, they would take their glasses off.
Right.
But this is branding.
Right.
Which some people don't realize branding, but this is branding. I always wear my shades.
Right.
So if you came to New York City and you went into the fashion area and you said, I'm looking for a lady that wears bling glasses. She like wears glasses at night all the time, inside, outside. What's her name? Someone could tell you.
Yeah, Sofia Davis.
Because it's the branding.
And does it take a certain level of confidence, though, to be a trendsetter?
It does. Because, see, you can't be subject to someone else's opinion.
Correct.
That's why they call it self-confidence and not other people's confidence. Because you have to be confident enough that you don't really care about their opinion.
Right.
Because I've always felt like if your opinion does not affect my bank account, it really doesn't matter to me.
Right. I know that's right. Listen, sister, when we come back, we're going to talk about one of my favorite Sofia Davis events, Fashion on the Hudson.
Yay.
And we're going to talk about, you know, how did you come up with the idea for such a magnificent display of talent and fashion. We'll be right back with Sessions Cafe. Sofia Davis is in the house. And we're back here on Sessions Cafe TV show with the marvelous fashionista herself, Miss Sofia Davis. And not only are you a person that's well respected for your own image and for the things that you put together in terms of your own brand, you're also very, very, very well respected for the events that you put on and the professionalism and the large scale that you put on events. Let's start with 7th on 125th. What was that all about?
Well, 7th on 125th was born out of 7th on 6th. They had 7th on 6th. I was allowed to go in because I was pressed. But there were a lot of designers that would stand outside, the independent designers, and they would say, Miss Davis, can you help us? Because, they couldn't get in.
Right.
And then, of course, they certainly couldn't afford to pay the monies that, they were charging. So they came to me, they asked me to, help them. Can I create something? Can I do something? What could I do? So I said, I couldn't say 7th on 6th because that was already a name.
Right.
But 7th on 125th, and we would do it outside in front of the state office building. We had a 100-foot runway, and we created something. And we used to get quite a bit of press.
So you brought some dope fashion to the village of Harlem.
And I was the first one to really do what they call if you want to say Fashion Week in Harlem or something like that. They had other shows that they would do in Harlem, but as far as something that was strictly runway, that was me.
How did it make you feel? Because you're from Harlem. Well, how did it make you feel to bring such elegance and professionalism and prestige to your neighborhood?
Well, I always felt that the independent designers were the ones that were starting the trends anyway. They were the ones that were setting it, but they didn't have the advertisement dollars for people to know about it. So other people would come and take their stuff, and then they'd show it downtown or at big shows. But people were already doing this. It's just they weren't being seen. So I felt good that they were being seen, that someone could see what they were doing and the creativity that they had.
Now, a lot of people think of Harlem as the black, at least one of, if not the premier black fashion capital of the United States. You being from Harlem, how did Harlem influence your swag, style, and essence?
Well, for me, I love Harlem. I mean, I don't think there's any place else I would live, even if I was a millionaire, because I just love the vibe. I love the culture. I love everything about Harlem. And what I would do is I would look at old movies and different things where people would dress up and really these ladies looked amazing.
Right.
But I would create my own style of that particular thing when women took time to get dressed.
Right.
And when, I would go out in Harlem or be in Harlem, I always felt connected, like I was part of it.
Right.
Because I was displaying what is the vibe there, the feeling.
Correct.
So that was it.
You're in Harlem, and Harlem is in you.
Yes, it is.
And speaking of Harlem, fashion on the Hudson. Now, let me just say this, Miss Davis. You and I built a lifelong friendship when I was doing the Keri's Corner radio show. And you invited me to several events because you were out and about all the time. You came to a lot of my events. You helped promote and produce a lot of great events that I did to promote the radio show. You invited me to Fashion on the Hudson. I thought to myself, so I'm not really big on fashion shows, but I'm going to go to anything that Miss Davis invites me to. Little did I know that at Riverbank State Park, you had a huge mega building filled to the T with photographers and fabulous time I had. You actually even gave me a fashion award one year, which I thought was so sweet, considering I felt so new to the whole New York City fashion community. You've always been a person that's made people feel included. What inspired you, though, to do Fashion on the Hudson, and then on such a grand scale? Because you do everything big.
Yes, that's kind of true.
You do everything big.
Well, it's important that people see the talent that's there. And, I've always been a person where I don't ask anyone to do something for me. I will kick down the door and create my own. Right. I will take the table. I don't want to sit at the table. I'm going to own it.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to build my own.
Yes, ma'am.
I've never been a person that, like some people say, oh, as soon as I get a sponsor, I'm going to do this. Listen, I'll work 2 jobs.
Right.
I'll sell dresses. I'll do whatever it takes to get the money to make sure that they have a platform. So I wanted people to have a platform. I wanted to give them something. I wanted their talent to be out there. And if I'm going to sit around and wait for a sponsor, or I'm going to sit around and wait for this one, everybody has excuses in life about why their life is not where they want it to be.
Right.
But that's what you have, excuses. You can make it happen.
That's right.
And that's what I did with Fashion on the Hudson.
Absolutely amazing event. I mean, how many designers?
One time I had too many. I had something like over 30 designers
30,
one
wow.
time. And even the press was like, we ran out of batteries. So I'll never do that one again.
Right. And
I'll never do that again.
Roughly how many people would you say? I mean,
oh boy, we had.
The bleachers were filled with,
I would say sometime 3,000 people because we would have people inside and then people outside.
And those lines.
Yeah, the lines.
Those lines. Used to always say, you better get there on time. And one thing about Sofia Davis, what do you say when it comes to time?
If you're on time, you're late.
Right, exactly.
That's why for me, if you're coming to my show, you have to come on time because I close the doors and you can't get in.
You don't play. And it doesn't matter who it is. Because it's all about respect, right?
Well, I do it because people have other things to do. You can't hold someone captive by starting a show an hour late.
Right, right.
And you will train people that if they want to come to your event, they will be on time. Oh, Miss Davis is going to close that door, so you better hurry up.
Right. She's
or
not
I'm going to leave you and I'll just see you be standing outside.
Right, exactly.
And it's only fair to the public.
Right. Yeah, you always put together such a professional event. You always attract so much press. How is your press list so you have a loyal press list, Miss Davis?
I do. And I appreciate them.
Why does the press love you so much? Well,
I think that I'm a fair person. I mean, I give them spots. I make sure that they're well taken care of. If we have anything to offer, I offer it to them. They can have a guest, those type of things. And most of the other places they go, they can't get in because you need certain credentials.
Right.
Whereas with me, if I know that you're a serious photographer or whatever, you may not have a magazine to put the pictures in, but at least you're shooting and have the opportunity to build your brand, as well as the models building their brand.
Yeah.
But other places you couldn't even get in.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. Speaking of places where people could not get in, back in 2015. The Wanderers Game stage play came to Broadway. The play was based on my book, The Wanderers Game, my very first book. It was produced and written by our good friend, Miss Alve Alexander, a wonderful sister. God, I love that sister. And you were among the VIPs invited to the show that night. It was sold out. Sold out, packed seats on Broadway. I let people know it wasn't off Broadway.
No, it was on Broadway.
Yes. And Tamika Henry, a beautiful sister, love her so much, awesome actress. She had a very important role to play that night on that stage. She played somebody that I adore. Who did Tamika Henry play?
She played Sofia Davis, and I that girl was really good.
Yes,
she was so amazing. She had me down to the T too. Yeah. She really did, because she was like darling, you know, because that's my favorite word. Right. So I would always say darling this or darling that or hello darling, you know. And she had that word. I mean, she did an amazing job. It was a wonderful play. I mean, and if the book was serious, but the play had a couple little humorous parts in it.
Yeah.
Which I thought Alve did a great job with that.
How did it feel seeing somebody play you on stage?
How does that feel? It's kind of funny watching yourself, kind of.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fashion Avenue News. I am here at the Wanderers Game Play Press Party, and I have the young lady to play Sofia Davis, who is me, in the play. First of all, tell us your name and tell us how you prepared for the role.
Well, my name is Tamika Henry, and I prepared for the role by watching a lot of you.
Oh my God! Well, that must have been kind of funny, right?
Yes, it was fabulous too because I got to learn everything about you. It was very fun.
Oh my God! So when you find out, like when they said who you were auditioning for, were you like, okay, I could do that?
Yeah. Once I saw the videos, I was like, I like this woman. She commands power. She's very stylish. I can do this.
Oh, that is amazing. So are you excited for tomorrow?
Very excited. I'm ecstatic. I want to do you proud.
Oh, I'm going to be proud. I saw you in rehearsal. You did a great job.
I thought she did a great job. And, even sometimes there are things you do that you don't realize, like saying darling all the time, or little gestures and stuff like, like that.
Yeah.
Those kind of little things that you just do. You don't even realize you're doing it because it's built into you.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you see it, you're like, okay.
So she studied you.
She did.
She studied you.
She did.
Yeah, congratulations to you on being featured in a Broadway play. Before we go, I want to talk about Fashion Avenue News, which I know Intrigue Magazine is the company that I'm president of and work for, but I love me some Fashion Avenue News.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your magazine before we wrap up.
Well, Fashion Avenue News is a high-end fashion publication. We feature emerging and established fashion industry talent. And the reason we do that is because Fashion Avenue was born out of the need, again, for designers.
Right.
I went to Vogue, I went to Elle, I went to all these bazaar, all of them. And I tried to talk to them about the independent designers. They slammed the door in my face. Again, like my father said, don't beg. Create your own.
That's right.
And I created a platform, but I didn't want to create just like some kind of booty magazine.
Right.
I wanted to create something they could be proud of, that their mother could look at, high-end, featuring models of all sizes in high-end garments, looking lovely, nothing to be ashamed of.
Right.
And that would rival Vogue. And that's how we got on Germany's Next Top Model.
Nice.
With Heidi Klum.
Nice.
Because they said they want an independent publication on the level of Vogue, but they wanted to be independent, and they picked us.
I will say that as much of a fan as I am of Fashion Avenue News, it was truly an honor to have my book featured in your magazine a couple of years ago. I think it was 2015 as well. And you were just a gracious person. Before we go, Sofia, I would like to ask you to give some advice to both aspiring designers and aspiring models.
Well, for aspiring designers and models too, I say one thing: stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's how I got in the mall. I was ready when they asked me. Everything they needed, I had it. Trademark, LLC, you name it, I had it. So I didn't have to get ready. Designers, you need to know the business of designing as well as be creative.
Right.
Because you can't leave all your work in someone else's hands.
That's right.
For models, you have to be serious and focused. A lot of times, you get models don't have a comp card. It's like not having a resume.
Right.
All these things, they don't know their measurements. They don't know their height without shoes. All these things are things that help you either get the job or not.
Right.
So if you want the job, then you got to get ready.
Yeah, you got to be ready. Yeah.
Stay focused.
Anybody that would want to be the next Sofia Davis, I guess I should say. Do you mentor?
Of course. I love mentoring. I love helping people. That's what I think I'm here for. Because I love to help people. I have interns. I even get international interns from Germany and Paris. My company is certified to get those interns. And, we try to help them as much. And I'm always available.
Yeah, how can
even
people
if they're not young. I take on other people who just want to learn.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we go out, how can people get in touch with you?
Social media is fine. May I give that?
Yes.
Yes. Fashion Avenue News or the House of Sofia Couture, either fashion, Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
And they can catch me there. And, email is also on that page.
Okay.
So if they want to, touch base with me, I'd love it.
And they better. If they want to be ready,
they
better be ready.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay focused.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you, Sofia, so much for being a guest on our show. I really appreciate it. I love you, and I thank you so much for being a part of my life. And I really feel like your calling is definitely not just to look good, but to make people feel good. And I thank you for that.
Thank you for having me, Keri. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, sister. And we'll be back next week with more Sessions Cafe.